How can you survive a terrorist attack similar to one seen recently in Moscow? That's what we'll talk about here in this video. Folks, as always, welcome to the channel, and remember that if you want to learn more about survival preparedness, you have Surviving the Economic Collapse, as well as Street Survival Skills, where I actually have chapters dedicated to these topics, such as how you seat yourself in public areas, in restaurants, in theaters, and this happened in a concert hall. So all of those things, there's little details that come into play. For example, the kind of seat that you choose, keeping in mind the access to the exit points. Whenever you go into an interior room, a concert hall, whatever it is, always identify the exits that are closest to you. If you have the choice of selecting a seat, try to have it as close to that exit as you can within a good seat, I guess, which is what you're looking for. Little things like understanding that these kind of attacks usually occur in capitals, so you have to be a little bit more careful. Personally, something I try to do myself is I don't go like the big day, the big opening for a movie where I know it's going to be a lot of people. I try to wait a couple of days, maybe a few weeks, a couple of weeks or so, and go when there's less people. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that I go with my family and there's no one else in the little theater that we choose. You want to avoid the big crowds, which are specifically what they are looking for, okay? There's things you can do in terms of having tools to defend yourself. Yes, people have done that before, even when completely unarmed. People with no training have managed to disarm attackers because they had the right angle, because it was in close proximity, a number of things. But when there's no other choice, yes, that may well be. But the main thing is you just want to get out of there as quickly as possible. And this may sound terribly obvious, but you'll see in a video here soon enough that's not always the case and not as obvious as you'd think for everyone. But one more thing is, why did this happen? Well, ISIS are the ones claiming this, but these 4 individuals that they detained, they come from Kazakhstan, which is no coincidence. Kazakhstans have been subjected to the brutal rule of the Soviet Union. It's in fact quite recently that they managed to, here goes, 25 October 1990, Kazakhstan declared its sovereignty on its territory as a republic within the Soviet Union following the August 1991 border coup attempt in Moscow. Kazakhstan declared independence on 16th December 1991, thus becoming the last Soviet republic to declare independence. 10 days later, the Soviet Union itself ceased to exist. What Putin has declared to be the worst, horrible, most terrible thing in the history of mankind, the end of the Soviet Union, and he is desperately to rebuild that, right? No, it's not as Tucker Carlson says. No, Putin is not a poor victim of the imperialist ambitions of NATO. It's actually the opposite. Russia are the ones that have imperialist ambitions and are still spreading till this day, even right now, their influence in all of these countries, and people don't appreciate, especially because they're responsible of the death of millions of people, horrible famines in Kazakhstan as well, and some people do remember that. Now, specifically to your situation when you're involved, don't be bald guy. What I mean by this is, don't start reporting in the middle of the attack. That is never a good idea. So, in this case, we're talking about, unfortunately, 137 people, I believe, up to this point. They attacked at least 4 people, AK-47s, with knives slashing and burning the building. You want to identify those exits. You want to be as close to those exits as possible. Choose your seat close to the corridor you have so as to make a quick exit. There's times in which some theaters you can actually like jump from the back straight into the exit. Maybe you're going to be breaking a leg, but you know what? You're going to be dragging yourself out of there alive, which is always better, especially when they start burning a place down. And this goes for attacks like this or fires, which both could happen. So it's always to keep that in mind, right? Identify those exits, make sure you are heading to them as quickly as you can, and don't start reporting on it. Now, this went on for a while. There was a lot of gunfire, and as you see, try to not get striked here from YouTube, some people run, some people walk, some people wait, screwing around. You don't want to be the one that screws around and waits or walks slowly. Get out of there fast. fast, quickly. Don't wait. Don't look. This woman, there's no need to do any of that. When you're leaving, you're leaving. Done, okay? Now, one final thing. Listen. Listen. Those are gunshots, right? We all agree on that, okay. That whistling sound of those are bullets hitting very close to where you are. If your microphone catches that, and your ears catch that as well, get the fuck out of there very, very quickly. You're about to die, okay? So, little things that seem obvious that unfortunately for some people are not. You want to run away from gunfire when something like this occurs. Avoid the flames, avoid the chaos and insanity that went on here. Okay, guys? That's going to be all for now. Again, subscribe to the channel. Books available there below. See you next time. Take care.